It's you going deeper into what are people needs and motivations, and those things are usually not changing that much over time, you know. You can change the way you get yourself entertained, but everyone is going to have the need of being entertained forever. So
Yeah.
that's what we mean. Like we go deeper into our research, understand the what people really value, and then create something that answers to that. That can be iterating over time, but there is something that is core that will last.
Hmm.
Does that make
I
sense?
can imagine that that's, I mean, you can plan for it, but it's not, you cannot be sure that that's the case, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I
Because it's
mean,
so
you just
complex. You never know what the future will bring, how it will change, and what trends are going to come in the future. So,
exactly. That's
yeah,
why I
also
was saying you
regarding,
need to fuel afterwards and you need to
hmm,
oil that motor afterwards. But still the basic elements of it are gonna work. No? If your vision is to entertain people,
hmm,
the way you entertain them might change over time, but you know your purpose, you know that the value that you bring to the world is that you are an entertainer. I'm putting that example, you know, out there, but
yeah,
and once you know that you're not going to disappear. You're just going to add value over time because you're going to be able to adapt to the changes of the world, but you're going to maintain that core value and learn from every iteration.
yeah. So, okay, first let's talk about future. What trends do you think are most transformative in the design industry in the future? And how do you think you can integrate them into your work?
Big question. um I think two come to my mind. The first one I think is the idea of hyper personalization. You know, the idea of that we want to users, people, clients, whatever we want to call them, we want to be uh, listened to, and we want to be uh, tailored and target. So we really want the experiences to adapt to ourselves, to answer to our needs, and we don't want anything else, right? So it's a big challenge for anything that you do, that you put out in the world, to be able to hyper personalize those experiences, those products, those brands, because people are getting more and more um, let's say different in a way, right? There are more niches, there are more differences, there are more individualism in general. So we are not trying to flatten the curve anymore and to wear the same clothes and talk the same way and have the same perfect family anymore. So to adapt to all those realities and personalities and situations, it's very hard to keep up and to create something that answers to you, Tim, and not to males between 25 and 35 that live in the northern part of Germany. You know, that's nothing anymore. You know, demographics mean nothing anymore. So how do you learn about team and about team's reality, about what team really needs? That's very hard and that's very difficult as any company, as any organization to do. But it's going to be more and more important, and we're just going to, I think, continue being celebrating diversity and difference more and more. So we need to adapt as brands and as people to that.
Yeah.
And the second one I would say is I hate to bring it, but it's because it's a buzzword almost, but it's AI.
Hmm.
You know, you cannot think your business without it anymore. It's like if you were in the 80s, early 80s, and you didn't want to create a big company, a big tech company related to anything related to the internet. Okay, you can, but then you're going to be out in 10 years. I mean, it's up to you, but it's impossible that it's not an element that it's part of your business model somehow. Doesn't matter if it's on an internal process or if it's part of your R&D, but it has to be there. It's a reality. It's the next evolution of information, of data, of the internet itself. So you have to bring it close instead of rejecting it or put it far from you. And it's also our responsibility to create AI in a way and to bring it closer to your needs and human. Um, if you put it apart, then only a few are going to create it, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. The future, we're gonna have to adapt to what's coming, and we're gonna have to stay on top of, I mean, go with the flow and go with the direction technology is taking us, because it's not going away. Like, but the buzzword you said, AI, it's always gonna be, it's gonna be there. So let's see that we can shape it in a way that it helps us, we don't lose control of it, and we
Exactly.
integrate it into the process. And I mean, right now you already know it's changing so much. If you're talking school, if you're talking university, if you're talking design, if you're talking anything, it's fully present. So yeah, it's not gonna go away.
It's not going to go away, and it's also been there for a while. The thing is that general users, we just realized, or we got to use it in
Mm.
the recent 3 years. But it's been there since the 80s or the 90s, and it's just that they didn't see the market feed. They didn't got to bring it to the masses. And when they found this dialogue, conversational way of doing it, they clicked and they saw the market
Hmm.
feed and they brought it to us, but it's been there forever. So it's not something that someone thought, oh, we can before. It's a whole development, and that's why I think it's going to stay. That's what I mean. It's not
Yeah,
a hype.
yeah, yeah. Also, the benefits are clear. You know, it makes stuff
Absolutely.
easier.
Absolutely. I mean, why
Yeah.
not? I mean, another thing I see for the future now, another trend, last one, is I think people are tending to work less and less in hours and in effort, I mean,
Hmm.
and to think their work-life balance differently. New generations are a clear example of that. They are already doing that. So prioritizing other things that are not your work, your career, that's not everything. And that's already proved by so many people, right? And to work smarter. And that doesn't mean to work 12 hours a day. That doesn't, if that for me is that you're working dumber, dumber,
Yeah.
not smarter. And I see ourselves working 3 days a week and 6 hours all every day of
Mm.
those 3 days, and technology and all sorts of things helping us to work smarter. We're also so many people, so we can connect more things, like the ecosystem can be much, much more connected.